Welcome. In today's chat podcast, we're going to be talking to the Artist of the Month for June 2016, Nancy Paden.
Welcome to the Artist of the Month podcast. Join Rick now as we chat with a winning artist each month, celebrate them and their work. Now, here's Rick.
Okay, before we get to our guest, Nancy Paden, I just want to encourage you guys to get your entries in. You can't become an Artist of the Month if you don't enter, so get them entries in. Okay, we have Nancy Paden here on the line with us. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Nancy.
Oh, hey, hello. It's great to be here. I'm an artist and have a background in interior design. I've worked many years as a decorator and then decided to pick my art back up. In the last few years, have pursued my fine arts a little more. A few years before that, I painted murals and did custom finishes for in-residence homes. So I guess my best thing to say is I like creating things. So I'm happy when I'm making something. And the last few years, it's been mainly focusing on my watercolors and my acrylics and oils.
So you do amazing watercolor paintings. This blows my mind away.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
My watercolors are pretty much just a process of many layering, layers on top of layers, and I enjoy trying to create different textures and the effect that it's not most people rarely think of as watercolor. So yeah. I guess that's my biggest challenge, and I enjoy that.
So tell me, how does it feel to have been chosen for the Artist of the Month for June 2016?
Oh, it was very exciting. One of the best things I think that's ever happened to me, and it's hard to put into words. It was exciting. I wanted to yell and tell everybody.
Jump up and down?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. My husband could have testified to that. It was very exciting. I have won a few awards, and that one definitely is right up there. So it's been a very positive thing for my career, I guess you could say.
Yeah, anytime you get any kind of a win, that's definitely a good thing, being an artist or, pretty much anything, really.
Absolutely, yeah, I think so. And sometimes even just the positive feedback that you get from friends and telling you how much they appreciate your work, to me, means the world. The money's wonderful, and that's exciting, and it helps buy more art supplies.
Yeah,
is the way I look. That's the way I looked at it. But the most valuable thing is hearing that people like my work, because I paint 90% of the time just for me, for what I want to paint, what affects me, and what inspires me. And so, to have someone else appreciate it is just terrific.
Okay, that kind of leads in my next question a little bit. What inspires you to paint?
Oh, wow. For me, I have a fairly wide range, but the more I thought about that question, how would I answer that, I'm thinking it has to be something that moves me. And when I stop and think about, okay, what is it when I see something, I love to hike. My husband and I hike a lot. We have numerous trails near our house, so we go several times a week, several miles at a time. And I love the outdoors. So, but sometimes it's just a simple pathway, with the trees on either side, going down through the trees. It's not so much what it is, it's the way the light comes through the trees. We tend to go late in the evening, right before dark. We even carry lights so that we often finish in the dark. So I get excited when I see the way a light hits on a leaf. I get excited when I find a feather on the trail. I get excited when I'm lucky enough to see a turtle. We have a beaver pond in one of the trails. I've videoed beaver, which is I grew up in the country. It's unusual to get to see beaver. So I get excited by the wildlife. I get excited by the way light hits things.
I was watching a video on your Facebook timeline of you recorded a video of watching a beaver chewing on a stick.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of neat.
You could actually hear it. That was the amazing thing. It was funny.
Yeah, I could hear the sounds, and that was pretty neat.
And needless to say, I carry my camera. I take lots of photos that become inspiration for paintings later on. Right now, I have several things in my head that will eventually show up in my work. I tend to paint things that haunt me. That, if it keeps coming back in my mind, I can't shake it. If I keep thinking, okay, I really, really need to paint that, then that's eventually what shows up. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that. Yeah, I understand you there too, for sure. 'Cause it'll tug at your heartstrings to get started on whatever it is you're thinking about.
Yes.
Do you wait maybe a couple weeks before you start something, or is it just when it hits you?
It varies. Yeah, it varies. I may have sometimes, like the painting that won, Hello Again, that actually came about in a matter of months, and it stuck in my head for almost a year before I finally got the concept onto paper the way I wanted it. I started it a year before, and then ended up changing the drawing, wasn't happy with some composition issues, and so it is a combination of several photos that I had taken on at different times on trails. So, yeah, it just depends. Sometimes I come back and I paint immediately, and then other times it might be a month later before I get it going.
Okay. Do you do many art shows?
I haven't at the moment. I hope that's in my future. I've got a lot of changes coming up. So I'm just going to kind of hang back and see, but I hope eventually I would be able to do shows.
Yeah. I really think they're, a real good way to get, noted and seen, for sure.
Yeah. Yes. Maybe in the future.
There you go. Yeah. I seen from Facebook there was that you made a magazine, and it was called ICA International. What was that?
Contemporary Artists. And
Do you have a story on that?
Well, it was kind of out of the blue. It is a hardback book that this company produces from artists from all over the world.
Wow.
And then it is sent to different museums and different art galleries and I guess dealers of art also, so that they can see different artists and different styles and whoever's out in the art world at the moment. I hope that I will eventually get more feedback from it. At the moment, it hasn't been a huge amount of feedback, but it's a very nice hardback book. I have a page in it that shows a painting called The Lookout of an alligator, and then another of my son holding an eastern indigo snake. So it just basically shows my painting style. Both were watercolors.
When was that published?
I received my copy back in, I want to say May or June. It's this summer. It actually went into publication months before, and so I received the notice that I had been accepted. You had to apply for it.
Oh, okay.
And they sent me a letter. First off, they sent me a letter that they had seen my website and would I like to submit some entries. So I submitted like 6 JPEGs and for a juried exhibition or whatever, they juried. And then several weeks later, I received a letter saying that it had been accepted to be in the book. So
that's really good.
Yeah, it was exciting.
You did get quite a bit of publicity from that. Then you said that's all over the U.S. and Australia.
Yes, the actual company that produced it has 2 offices, one in New York and one in London, I believe. So,
okay.
hopefully people all over from galleries and museums.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
That's a pretty big deal there.
I was excited. Yeah, pretty much for me. It was big, right up there with Artist of the Month. So it was very exciting.
If you stop and think about all the people that are reading that, it's pretty incredible. It's all over the U.S. and
Right. Yes.
This question right here, I want to ask you, what's one of the best ways that you have found to market your artwork?
I would say that's the hardest part for me of being an artist, and I find I fail at it miserably.
Yeah.
So far, Facebook has been fair. My website, unfortunately, I'm it when it comes to taking care of it and posting and updating, and I don't think that it does what it needs to do. So I'm kind of in limbo, and I'm constantly now trying to find new ways to market artwork. I know that galleries are good, and competitions are always good to, as far as winning and getting your name out there and having some awards that you can give you something to advertise or to publish that you've made a step in the right direction. So I'm open to learn a lot more. And working every day at trying to find new ways. So.
Well, that's definitely good. Yeah, I think everybody's got to be doing that. Looking for new ways to grow and get their work seen.
Absolutely, and it's hard to find time to juggle it all as an artist. I laugh and I say, my goal is to paint every day, but there are days that I don't, that life just takes over. And lately has kind of been one for me, as far as we're in the middle of some renovations to our house, and it's just kind of been a crazy time. So it's hard to fit a few hours
that makes it tough
here and there.
Yeah. You're tearing down walls and everything and all.
Well, you laugh. As we speak, they're carrying out my master bath.
Okay.
So I am literally out in my studio because it was the quietest place around.
Oh, that's good.
My house the walls were shaking and the saws were going. And
so if we hear a saw, we won't be surprised then.
No. Luckily, my studio is quite a few feet away from the house, so that's
good.
It's a good, safe place.
I wanted to talk about your June Artist of the Month winning a little bit more. Your Hello Again. How did that painting come about?
Well, that is one that was what I was talking about. I was hiking down the trail, and I'm constantly looking at the ground in front of me. And on one particular day, my husband and I were walking, and we came up on this beautiful box turtle. And the turtle had stopped in the middle by some roots of a tree, but right directly in the middle of the trail. And so I had my camera that day, and I stopped, and I got down on almost the turtle's level and started taking photos. And I don't know how many I took, lots. And they're such shy animals that if you be still and stay still, then that's when they put their head back out, because box turtles retreat into their shells. And so it took a few minutes of being patient, and it finally stuck its head back out. And then I noticed that there was something in front of it, and it had been eating what I thought was a centipede or some kind of a little bug, worm, looked like a millipede, centipede. Anyway, and it was just in front of it. So as I waited, it went back to what it was doing, which was trying to eat that bug. And so I got lots of good photos, beautiful colors on its shell. And so I went on with that, and then I thought, okay, those are good. But in my mind, another day of hiking, the light was coming through these old stumps and leaves and stuff at the base of another tree. And I was just intrigued with it. And that particular day, I had stopped and taken multiple shots of the way the light was coming through. Nothing there, just simply the background that I thought was neat looking. So that's how eventually I had this thought in my mind that I wanted to put the two together or something along those lines. So then I started going through photographs and finally matched the photographs up that I thought would work and the placement, and worked out the entire composition, and then drew it onto my watercolor paper and started.
How long did that take you to do? Must have took quite a while.
I think I counted like 48 or 49 hours.
Yeah.
I forget to log my hours a lot of times when I'm painting. When I try to do it on things that I think are going to take me long just to see. So that one was a fairly long one, yes.
You find yourself when you sit down and do a painting like that you're getting drawn right into it?
Oh, well, yes. It usually, this sounds strange, once I get the drawing finished, then I'm happy, because that I kind of have the whole thing painted in my mind by the time I finish the drawing.
I don't think that sounds strange at all, really.
but because I tend to think, if I'm doing a watercolor, I tend to think of, okay, I'm going to do it in steps, and which step I'm going to do first. And so then once I actually get the first or second wash onto the board, yes, it starts to come together, and then I start getting excited, and then it becomes an obsession. I tend to paint nonstop. I have to literally make myself stop and go eat, and make myself stop and take a break and stretch. But sometimes getting that drawing onto the paper is the hardest part.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of drawing there. That is a lot.
Yeah.
So did it take you more time to paint it than draw it, probably, right?
Yes, it actually did, because there were so many layers. But the drawing did take probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 days of several hours at a time drawing, and then evaluating and making some changes. I do all my original drawings on like vellum, and then they get transferred onto the paper after I've completely been satisfied with it.
Yeah. Do you normally work your paintings like dark to light, or just kind of bounce around, or?
Well, in a general sense, I usually go light to dark. If I'm building up texture, yes, I go light to dark. But on this one particular painting, I had so many dark areas and such intricate drawings that I literally was getting lost on what was going dark and what was going light. So I had masked out some of my whites, and then I had started in, and then I suddenly realized I'm going to go crazy. I cannot figure out what's going dark and what's going light. So then I started putting in large areas of dark in order to be able to keep track of where I was in the painting. And it worked out fine.
Yeah, that's for sure. It definitely did. I'm surprised the turtle would kind of stay in that pose that long with you, kind of right there.
Well, I mean, he was eating, so I had multiple shots with his head up, with his head sideways and down, but it did require just being still for a few minutes in order to get those shots.
Oh, okay.
So then it was just a matter of picking out which one I wanted to paint from.
Okay. Wanted to talk a little bit about, I have this posted on the Artist of the Month podcast page. A picture of a guy, I think that maybe your son holding the indigo snake, the painting
Yes.
that you did.
Yes. It is my son.
Is there a little bit of a story on that? I really love that one.
Oh, thank you. That is my favorite painting that I've done so far. He's my only son, my husband and I, and he is basically a biologist, wildlife. He's working currently with moving gopher tortoises. So
Wow.
in the field. He was in the field. In that particular painting, the photos that I painted from that, we had gone down to South Florida. He was working, doing field research for the Orion Society, doing telemetry tracking of eastern indigo snakes. He had about 15 snakes that he was tracking on a daily basis. Of course, he would manage to track 2 or 3 one day, and then 2 or 3, and he alternated. But they're an endangered snake that is what I consider a good snake, which sounds funny, but he laughs at me. He says, "Mom, they're all good." But what they do is they actually are non-venomous, and they will eat venomous snakes.
Oh,
so
really?
The area that he was working in, there's open fields
Uh-huh.
of cattle farmers, and they so part of his job was tracking the snakes through some of the land that the Orion was working on, which was the Archbald, and I can't think of it, conservation center. There was like 10,000 acres, and then some of the snakes would go on to farmers' land close to that, and he would track the snakes onto the land, and maybe I should explain. Telemetry tracking is the snakes had been captured. They have a small transmitter inserted into them by a vet, and it emits a signal, and then he would have the antenna and could actually track where they were going, the temperature of the ground. So that you got a background of what they're eating, where they're traveling. Anyway, these snakes range with several miles.
You said they're endangered.
Yes, sir. They're endangered in certain areas, and certain areas they have actually are almost extinct, or technically extinct because they're no longer in areas like South Alabama. They once were on the Gulf Coast area. They're no longer there. Now they're found in a small section of Georgia and only a few places in Florida.
I have another picture on the website of one that I found from your Facebook page of you holding a small baby one. And I'm thinking to myself, you're nuts.
That is actually was a baby indigo.
Yeah, what is that
when
about?
We had,
probably 2 feet. So.
Yes, it was only a couple of feet long. We had been down the same trip down to visit him while he was working, and I think on the first morning that my husband went out in the field with him, I stayed at the house and was in painting. Literally, I had a painting I was working on. I took with me on vacation, and I had just gotten started, and they had just left. And then a few minutes later, here they come back, and I'm like, what? And they had found a baby indigo,
oh, wow.
which is extremely rare to get to see baby ones. So he brought it back to the house to show me. So anyway, then they measure them and they weigh them, and he had to do all the technical part after I got told it.
So they really keep track of them then?
Oh yes, that was his job, was finding out all the data and keeping track, and and that one did not have a transmitter. He just happened to find it, which was very lucky.
Oh, maybe you should go play the lottery then too now.
Yeah, I tell him that. Yes, he's a pretty lucky guy.
Huh. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So, what's that?
No, I just said that, lots of times he keeps me in interesting subjects.
Oh yeah, that's good. Well, do you have anything you would like to tell anybody out there that's listening?
Oh, well, then I most definitely would like to recommend to all my artist friends that enter your work. You never know. You might be the next artist of the month.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, you never know. I certainly didn't expect to win. I just thought I would give it a whirl, and very, very pleased and very happy and honored to be named Artist of the Month.
Well, we're definitely glad that you made it. That's a good deal.
Well, thank you so much for calling and talking with me. I've enjoyed talking, and
you're
I wish
very
you
welcome.
good luck.
Okay, thank you. Okay, everyone, I wanted to thank you for joining me today. And just a reminder, get your entries in. You can't become an Artist of the Month if you don't enter. And also, visit the podcast page to view all of Nancy's website links and view the pictures that we talked about today. Just go to artistofthemonth.net and click on the square podcast banner down at the bottom, and you can view all that information. So, until next time, God bless.